Hello, and welcome to this episode of Rich as Fuck, Real as Fuck. This is the place where we talk all things about creativity, money, mindset, and the discipline that it takes to build a life that pays. And if you're someone who's been around listening to Your Aligned as Fuck Life with Shalvika, you are welcome back. We have undergone a slight pivot from Your Aligned as Fuck to Rich as Fuck, Real as Fuck because I have undergone a massive pivot in my life and in my business. And that is something that I want to talk to you about from the get go. But before I go there, let me introduce the topic that we are going to be talking about today. This is birthing the business of your dreams through your identity. So, before I dive in any further, let me first start by telling you what is identity. And identity is what it is that you believe about yourself. It is what it is that you believe yourself to be capable of. It is what you think you can do, what you cannot do, what is possible for you, what is not possible for you, the kind of money is possible that's possible for you, the kind of love that you can have. All of these things encompass your identity. It is a collection of your strongest beliefs about yourself. So, for example, just to give you a very simple example, I am a woman. That is an identity, and everything that entails that statement of I'm a woman is a part of my identity. Now, maybe I have challenged some of those things. Maybe I have tried to mold certain things to what my life looks like, to what my aligned as fuck life looks like. But sum total of my identity is going to be the collection of the beliefs that I have. And today we are not going to talk about where these beliefs came from and what is happening because I don't really want to go there, but I really want to focus specifically on how you can birth the business of your dreams using your identity. And I'm going to use my own real example. So I want to start off by sharing a very personal story. Okay, 2025 was the biggest year for me in my business. I made the most amount of money. I worked with a really amazing bunch of high ticket clients, and I had my highest month. I had my highest year in business all in 1 year, and it was crazy. It was phenomenal. And then when 2026 started, it just felt like, whew, do I have to go and repeat that again? It just felt a tad bit exhausting. And I don't know if you've ever felt that because this is something that I've been waiting for since I started my business, which was back in 2020, where I wanted to be fully booked, where I wanted there to be a wait list for people to work with me one on one, where I wanted to make the kind of revenue that I made in 2025. And I achieved all of those things in 1 year. And at the end of that year, I was like, oh my God, does this need to be done again? And I want to share a little backstory about what kind of went behind that. I actually landed a massive corporate contract in 2025, and that contributed to a big chunk of that revenue goal, a big chunk of those clients that I was busy with, so that I was completely booked out. However, one of the things that happened was I never really intended to go the corporate route. It was not something that I was genuinely, authentically seeking out. It was just something that came my way. It felt exciting at the time. Of course, it was good money, so I said yes. Um, Now, here is the bit where my identity piece rather kind of comes in, right? I grew up in a very middle class Indian family. So, landing a corporate gig was like equivalent to the fact that I have made it big, right? It means that, okay, I'm in the big leagues now. I sign contracts that are like massive in number. That is who I am. But at my core, at the level of my own identity, at the level of my own heart, around building what I'm building, because at the end of the day it is a creative business. It is a business that I'm building through my heart and soul and my entire being, right? Something felt off because a lot of that contract felt performative. And I'm not saying that I will never work with corporate clients again. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that the way I handled it, because it was unexpected and it just showed up, the way I handled it, the way I showed up for myself and for my business was in misalignment with who I am and what I want to build, right? So there were certain things around payments, for example, and I had to like run around and take follow-ups and like wait for months for certain payments to come through. That is not how I run my business. Like outside of that corporate contract, I have for years now always taken advance payments. I don't offer payment plans. I don't get on a call on the first coaching call with someone unless I am paid for that service already. But I did that in this case. Why? Because there was that part of my identity that kind of told me that, oh my god, you finally made it big. So it means it's okay to compromise a little. It's okay if they aren't paying me upfront for the entire thing. I can start. I mean, it's a corporate company. They've signed a contract. Of course, they're going to honor it. And they did honor it. But the headache and the kind of efforts that I had to put towards getting those payments was not something that I like in my business. The second is I had to be performative in a way that I had to show up in a certain way. Now, again, it's not that they expected me to show up in that way. It's that identity of what a corporate coach looks like that I had in my head, which I was using to fuel that entire experience with my clients that I was working with, right? So this is why I'm saying building the business of your dreams through your identity. So let's go back to beginning of 2026, and I was like, what the fuck is this, what I want to do? And a couple of months I felt really lost because I was like, I don't know what I want to do, because I had created an amazing program for that corporate company, and I know that even today I know that that curriculum is completely ready for me to use wherever it is that I want to use. But it didn't just feel right for me in my body that I was just selling that. I was not a leadership coach in the sense that not a corporate leadership coach. I am a leadership coach because I teach business. Of course, everyone who runs a business, everyone who's a creative and drives their revenue through their creative enterprise is a leader in themselves, but not in the corporate leader way. And so I took a couple of months and I realized that this is not the direction that I want to go, right? Like I started off with a vision, and then this opportunity cropped up and I jumped on that opportunity. And then by the end of the year, I decided that that opportunity is going to steer steer the direction of where my business is going to go. And that is where that misalignment came, because I was not the one driving it, right? And that is why what your identity is important, but it's also important how am I using my identity to take my business in the direction that I want to go in, right? So before I give you some questions and before I kind of ask you to work your way through the process that I went through, I want to actually talk about how misalignment shows up, how to identify that misalignment has shown up, right? First way is, of course, what I just shared, that everything on paper was fine. I had my biggest year. I had the most successful year that I had dreamed of. This is something that I wanted for a really long time, and I felt empty by the end of it. I felt drained, I felt burnt out, I felt unmotivated, and I felt very uncreative, which is so unlike me. I'm a highly creative person in my life, right? So that is one way in which your misalignment could be showing up, that everything on paper is perfect, but you still feel that something is missing. Something feels like it is forced. It feels like I know what I want to do, but I'm not really doing it because my heart is not completely in it. That is misalignment, right? Another way in which misalignment can be showing up in your business is, say you are about to walk into a consultation call and you have decided that this is the price that I'm going to quote. And just when you're about to sign into that meeting or walk into that conference room, you have this small little voice that's going, oh, but is this really the price that we're going to quote? Because we are worth so much more, right? And then there is this internal battle, this internal tug of war, where this voice says that, oh, but we are worth so much more, and this voice is like, oh, but they are giving us the opportunity, maybe I should just not be picky. And what if they decide, when I tell them the price that I actually think I should tell them, what if they decide that I'm too expensive and they don't sign up? That is misalignment. That is pricing misalignment. That is where your identity knows that this is the direction that we want to go, but in reality you're pulling yourself away from that direction, because there is a lot of bullshit thoughts that are going around it. There's a lot of bullshit beliefs that are going around it. There may even be excuse me, a conflicting identity with this one. So maybe at some point in the last 6 months, you did quote a new price and you got rejected once. And then you decided, oh, people think that I am too expensive. There could be a conflicting identity as well, right? But that is a clear misalignment. Another way that you could be feeling misalignment, which again I've kind of touched upon from my example as well, but you just take whatever opportunity comes. And I'm not saying you don't take the opportunities that come your way. Do not get me wrong. I am in no way regretting going through the 2025 that I did. I think it gave me the space and time I needed to kind of undergo this entire pivot, to undergo this pivot from your aligned as fuck life to rich as fuck, real as fuck. I'm so excited about this, by the way, guys. But we have this, you may have this identity that says that, oh my God, like what if people don't say yes? So the minute someone says yes, even though in your mind, maybe you know that they are not the right fit for you, you know that, maybe they're not going to put in the work. I have had that, I have had that experience in the past. I have signed up clients who weren't ready to put in the work at all, right? Even though I made it clear that as a coach, I'm a facilitator. I cannot do your daily chores and tasks and things and habits and rituals for you. I cannot do that. I can facilitate the doing of those things, but the actual doing has to be done by you. And this person completely refused to do that, and I had to fire this client, and I had to pay back whatever money that they had paid me, and it is a big deal at that time. But now I feel like, whew, thank God, right? But yeah, there is this fear, there is this inherent fear, belief that we have, that whoever says yes, I have to say yes, because that's who I am. That is rooted in this identity of, oh, but I'm someone who doesn't disappoint people, I'm someone who doesn't reject people. It could also be rooted in this identity of, things don't come that easily for me, so if things are coming towards me, I should go for them, right? um, Maybe another way misalignment can be showing up is, in your core, and again, this is me at the beginning of 2027, in your core that this is not the direction that I want to take my business. This is not the direction I want my life to be going in. This is definitely not what I want to be selling, what I'm excited about selling. But then the idea of making a pivot is just so daunting, because I have built this for so many years. Like, your aligned as fuck life has been your aligned as fuck life since, I think, 2022, right? So then to take it and scrap, I'm not saying it's scrapped, all of the content will still be available. It's still there. It's just, we're just bigger and better now. But what if people stop identifying me? And that happens, right? Like, even on my Instagram, there are people who were there for leadership coaching, for manifestation, who were there for pure identity coaching, like life coaching, that I was doing up until now. And now I'm suddenly working with only creatives, creative entrepreneurs, artists, influencers, writers, actors, right? So obviously it's going to take some time for my audience to get used to that. So yeah, pivots are hard, but that could also be your misalignment, where you know that you have to do that pivot, but you're not doing that pivot because there is this massive fear of, oh, but I'm going to have to rebuild this from scratch. The thing is, you're never rebuilding from scratch. So many of the things, so many of the podcast episodes that I've already recorded, for example, are still relevant to you if you are a creative. I did an 8-episode series a few years ago that was completely dedicated to creativity. By the way, how did I not like pick up on these breadcrumbs, right? Like, that I want to work with creatives. I don't know, but yeah, I did that. So maybe you want to pivot, but you are not pivoting. That is how misalignment is showing up. in your business, in your identity. And another very simple, very effective way to know if there is a misalignment between your identity and what you're building is you wake up on a regular Tuesday morning and you dread going into work. Here's the thing, if you are a creative or a creative entrepreneur, you started this for yourself. You started this so that you could have the freedom to maybe go out and work from a cafe on a Tuesday, or if it's raining outside, the way it's been raining here, you want to just go on a hike on your afternoon without having to worry about what people are going to think, without have to worry about, oh my god, but I have 10 back-to-back meetings. That's not what you built your business for. So if you wake up dreading your day any day, this is a sure short sign that there is misalignment between your identity and what it is that you are building. All right, so enough talk about misalignment. Let's talk about actually birthing the business of your dreams through your identity. So here is what I want you to do. I want you to, if you're watching this video on YouTube, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, I want you to pause this right now and I want you to go and I want you to grab a journal and I want you to grab an actual journal. So it's okay if you're like scribbling on your iPad as well, but I want you to write it down with your hands. I don't want you typing this out, okay? And I want you to actually write down the answer to these three questions, okay? The first question is, who are you being? Who are you being right now? Okay, so for example, I'm someone, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I am publishing 100 videos in July, by the way. Scares the shit out of me, but we are doing it. Anyway, who am I being right now? I'm someone who's being extremely creative because I feel like the minute I decided that I wanted to publish 100 videos, there was this explosion of creativity that happened inside of me. And there are so many ideas that are just pouring out of my brain. That is who I am being. Who I am also being is, like I said, where I'm at right now, it's raining and it's a little, it's a very kind of stay indoors, cozy, curled up with your warm coffee or hot chai kind of a weather. And I'm being a little lazy, to be honest. Like, I haven't gone for a workout in like a week. Even though I am working out at home, but I have not gone out for a workout. That is who I am being. Another thing is, who are you being in your business? Who am I being when I show up? Right? Who am I being when I am selling, for example? Am I being someone who is not convinced of what I'm selling? Am I being someone who is just looking at selling, for example, from only one direction? Am I being someone who, the minute I heard the first rejection, I decided, oh, they rejected me. This is not good enough. I'm going to go ahead and do something new. And so I made a tiny pivot and I went on to the next thing. And then when someone rejects me there, I'm gonna do a tiny pivot and go on to the next thing. Who are you being today in your business? Who are you being today in your creativity? Are you someone who's consuming more than they are creating? Right? Are you someone who is just scrolling through what is the term, binge watching reel after reel of other business coaches and other people in your own niche and not creating something of yourself? So I want you to be really, really honest. And again, you're not going to share that answer with me. You're not going to share that answer with anyone. You're doing this exercise just for you alone. So who am I being in my business right now? And I want you to free write. If you want, you can pause this right here. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever time it takes. And I want you to free write, who am I being right now in my business, right? That's the first question. Let's move on to the second question. So here I am really expecting that you've already free written Who am I being? I hope you have. And if you've not done that, it's okay. After listening to this episode, you can obviously go back and do it. But please do that exercise because it's going to be so damn good. Okay. Second question. Very simple. Where do I want to go? Right? It's July 2026. Imagine it's July 2027. Where do I want to be? How do I want my business to look like? What kind of clients do I work with? What kind of revenue do I generate? Do I have recurring income? Do I have team members? Do I have a suite of products, or do I just sell one thing and I go all in? Do I have 100 people in my program? Have I sold my art to, I don't know, 20,000 people? Whatever that looks like for you. Where is it that I want to go? What is that business milestone that I want to have reached in this next year, right? Again, free ride. Get into as much details as you can, even if they feel delulu. Look at me, a millennial using a Gen Z term, but even if it is delusional, even if it feels out of reach, the thing is, if that feels out of reach, where you are at today also at one point felt out of reach. You have to remember that. Here I am, 6 years after starting my business, sitting here going through this big pivot, even though it has affected my monthly revenue. Why? Because I made it. I made a bunch of money last year. So right now I have the luxury to pivot, right? And this felt delusional at one point in the past. So what I'm trying to say is, it's okay. Every single thing that you've achieved so far, at some point or the other in your life, it felt delusional. So think about what it is that you really want in this year, no matter how unrealistic it feels, no matter how delusional it feels. Write it down, right? That's the second thing. The third question is, and this is where your identity, future self identity, is really at. Who needs to show up in order for me to go from where I am today to where I want to go? So we talked about where I am today. Who is showing up today? We talked about where I want to go. Who do I want to be a year from now? What do I want to have a year from now? Now we're going to bridge that gap and we're going to write down who needs to show up. Who do I need to become in order to get there? What is the identity of the person who has sold their art to 20,000 people, has made $1 million, has made 1 crore, whatever it is that looks like for you, right? Now, when you're writing this question, the answer to this question, I want you to write down the identity piece. Right now, what do I mean by that? Who needs to show up is the question, right? I don't want you to write like, I'm someone who's very disciplined, who creates content every day, who posts 3 times on Instagram. These are actions, right? Posting 3 times on Instagram is an action. Going to the gym twice a week is an action, right? I want you to think about it from an identity perspective. Who am I being? Okay, I am someone who moves my body no matter what. I am someone who shows up multiple times every day on whatever platforms, no matter what, because I know my visibility is what is driving my business, right? I am someone who is so devoted to what I have created that no matter how many rejections I get, I keep going at it. I keep finding different perspectives to sell the same thing. I keep following up with people. I keep getting more and more people on consult calls with me, right? Because I am devoted to this idea, because I know that this is an idea that's going to change people's lives, right? So tap into that. Tap into who do you need to be. If you want, even answer the question, I'm the kind of person who, right? And fill in those blanks. Now, these statements that you write, right? The answer to who needs to show up. These statements that you write, these are the identities that you want to embody, right? This is where you need to go. This is your, what's the word, your North Pole. No, not North Pole, Pole Star. Oh my god, I can't. Anyway, it's your lighthouse. Let's change the metaphor. It's your lighthouse. It is your guiding light. You're out at sea. This is your guiding light. Now what are you doing? You're out at sea. You see the lighthouse blinking. You know that this is where I want to go. You are not going to suddenly go decide to go towards your right, because you know that lighthouse is right in front of you, right? So the next thing, the next very, very, very important thing for you to do is to start saying no to everything that does not fit that identity, right? Maybe you are invited by your besties for a party on a Sunday night, and you know that on Monday morning you want to sit and you want to record 3 videos, or you want to create some art, or you want to sit and write for 3 hours. Because I am the kind of person who shows up for my dreams. That is an identity that you have decided for yourself. So you say no to that party. I want you to start auditing your life. Audit your life using this list. Who needs to show up? I know if you're watching this video, I know I'm like pointing towards this, but I have a notebook here with all my notes. So I'm just pointing towards the notes. Who needs to show up? Audit everything, keeping that in mind, right? And of course, over the next few videos, we are also going to talk about how you can switch identities and how to go from where you are at to where you want to go. But right now, what I want you to do is I want you to literally say no to everything that does not align with this identity, right? And that is how you birth the business of your dreams using your identity. I am the sort of person who, and then write that down. And trust me when I say, the way you look at your business, the way you look at tasks inside your business will completely transform the minute you do that. Awesome. Before I wrap this up, I want to talk to you about the Creative as Fuck experience. Okay, the Creative as Fuck experience is a year-long program for the creative entrepreneur that I have created, that I have birthed with all of my love, with all of my experience, with all of this idea of I want more creators to make more money. I want more creators to be more visible. I want more creators to actually be fucking wealthy, right? Um, so that is open for enrollment. I'm going to put up the link in the show notes. I'm going to put up the link in the descriptions. But I want to talk to you today a little bit about the first part of the first module inside this program, which is called the Aligned as Fuck. The Aligned as Fuck is about a 12-week journey where we are going to do exactly this work. We are going to fine-tune your identity. We are going to go even deeper because we are going to dive into your values, your why, your superpowers. We're going to dive into aspects of actually auditing what is misaligned in your life right now, in your business right now. And then we are going to find a way to bring that all together, right? We are going to use your identity to build a business that is aligned as fuck with who you are. Because here's the thing, if you're a creative like me, your business is you. You are the medium through which you birth every single thing inside your business. And that is an amazing thing. But at the same time, it is also very important then to find alignment with who you are. Because like I shared my story in the beginning, you don't want to be lost. You don't want to be out at sea and be like, what the fuck am I doing? How am I going to grow from here? Where am I going to go from here? Right? I don't want you to do that. So here is my invitation to you. The Creative as Fuck experience is a year-long experience, and I have started enrollments for it. I have the founding members spots available. Find the links in my bio, and if you, not in my bio, in the description and in the show notes. And if you have any questions, I want you to reach out to me at Shalvika P, SHALVIKA P, Shalvika P on Instagram. Also, I did a 3-part video series called the Creative as Fuck Live, which is available for you for free. So if you want to get a taste of what it is going to be like inside the Creative as Fuck experience, I am going to put a link to that as well in the show notes, in the description. So join us there, and I cannot wait to see what this next year brings forth for you, because honestly there's so much that can transform and change and come forth for you in 1 year. Awesome. That is all that I have for you today. I am going to see you next time inside Rich as Fuck, Real as Fuck. See you soon, bitches. Bye.